Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to yet another webinar. Today we're going to talk about the ColorVu and AcuSense, and a little bit later the MinMoe terminals. So I want to quickly introduce a few things in the chat box below. You're more than welcome to type questions there if you have any questions. We've got a technical team ready to be able to answer your questions. And yeah, so I'm going to quickly introduce the ColorVu. We're going to start off with the ColorVu technology. All right, so I think a lot of you already know of the ColorVu, but maybe don't know exactly what the ColorVu is about. So let's quickly have a look and see what it is about. All right, so what is this? If you had to quickly look at this thing, could you really figure out what it is? I think in most cases, not until you look at it very long and very hard. But if you had a ColorVu camera, it's way easier to know exactly what this is. All right, so obviously it's an orange, and the color information added to this image helps a lot with extra information. So it's much easier to identify things and so forth. All right, so we can see that if we lose color, we also lose core information, information that is vital for investigations and things like that. If you want to know exactly what color clothing a person had on, what color car they drove off with, and so forth and so forth. So you can see how color can actually help us. And that's what the ColorVu technology is all about. 24/7 color imaging coming from these cameras, this technology. All right, so if you use a conventional camera at nighttime, if you look at these images, not a lot of information in there. There's a lady, well, stealing some stuff. We can't really tell what it is. And in parking lots, you know, you always get the overexposure from number plates and things like that because of the IR coming from your normal black and white or day-night cameras. But if we had to change them to ColorVu cameras, the picture looks completely different. There's a lot more information coming from these cameras now. We can now see, but hold on, there was actually a person in that view, which was difficult actually to see with a black and white camera. We can now identify or see what items a person took, and we can actually start reading number plates now at nighttime with a ColorVu camera, because we've got vital color information coming from these cameras. All right, so the whole idea with ColorVu cameras is 24/7 color imaging. So more details, making your life and your installations a lot more secure because you've got the extra information needed, especially at nighttime. All right, so colorful imaging, if we look at, again, the same example we had earlier, on the left-hand side, we've got our normal black and white camera, your day-night camera, and this is obviously at nighttime. And then we've got the ColorVu camera right next to it. And you can see a big difference between the two with the type of information that's included in the ColorVu camera. So if we compare that there, you can see the color is vivid. It's a very true and correct type of coloring coming from this. And obviously you can see a lot more, helping you, especially again with your investigations and so forth. All right. So in this case here, it is difficult to see exactly what happened in this scenario where the lady took something from the fruit shop. But if we look at a ColorVu camera image, we can see exactly what type of things she took. So not missing any key information, and that's the whole point of the ColorVu technology. All right, so if we look at this here with a day-night camera compared to the ColorVu camera, a lot more information. All right, what about the number plates? So you can see in your parking lots, your gate entrances and so forth, your normal day-night cameras, at nighttime, obviously they'll switch on their IR and so forth. And normally, if it's not an ANPR camera, normally you get overexposure from the number plates with the IR reflecting in these number plates, which means that you lose all that vital information. Apart from the coloring of vehicles, you can see there, we can't really tell what color these cars are. But if we have a ColorVu camera in there, we can make out a lot more information, as can be seen. All right, so again, a big benefit there for the ColorVu camera. All right, so the whole point, again, of ColorVu camera is 24/7. This camera doesn't have a black and white option. It stays color 24/7. So no matter how dark, how bright it is, always in color. You get a lot more details captured from these cameras. You can compare it with the normal day-night camera on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we've got the ColorVu camera. And this is over 24 seconds throughout the night, as we see how vivid these colors are. The better visual experience, meaning a lot more detail again, a lot more vital information captured in your work. All right, so what makes ColorVu so remarkable? What is the key? Well, I'm not going to give away everything, right? So I'm going to show you exactly why this camera is so awesome. All right, first of all, again, 24/7 color imaging technology from these cameras. The first thing that we upgraded was the lens. The lens we've upgraded, you can see it's f1.0. I'll quickly introduce that a little bit later again. But that collects a whole lot more light than your average standard camera does. The second thing is we redesigned the sensor. So it's not a standard sensor in there. We capture, again, with the redesign of the sensor itself, we capture a lot more light, a lot less light is lost through the sensor itself, which means we're focusing all the light coming through these cameras. We're focusing onto the sensor itself, not losing light information, which makes the image a whole lot brighter. And then we've got the lighting built in. So sometimes it needs to be really, really dark. And again, we're going to get to the specifications of these cameras. It needs to get really dark for the camera to actually switch on the white light that's built in. So we call it friendly lighting. It's not a very harsh light, let's call it a cool white light that's very harsh but difficult to look at. So it's an easy, warm white type of a light. So nobody will look away. And the whole point is actually to get facial information as well. So those three key things is what we upgraded to make this ColorVu camera. All right, so let's have a look at the lens. As I mentioned, the lens has got an f1.0. Now, if you look at your standard average run rate type of cameras, they've got about an f2.0 iris or aperture in the lens, right? So that allows a certain amount of light to fall in onto the sensor. So only a certain amount of light can be used by the sensor for brightness and those kind of things. We've upgraded the iris in these ColorVu cameras to f1.0. f1.0 that means that it can actually get about 4 times the amount of light onto the sensor than normal f2.0 cameras. So 4 times the amount of light, it means it's 4 times brighter, which means that the whole image is much more vivid, it's much brighter, it's much easier to detect things. And so like I mentioned earlier, we redesigned the way that sensors work and the actual construction of the sensor. So which means that we use a lot more light, a lot less light actually gets lost through the sensor. The sensor is also extremely, again, with these sensors, we also have a 3D DNR, a third dimension digital noise reduction that helps with your general noise, makes this camera so phenomenal. All right, so like I mentioned, in most cases, the white light or the friendly lighting there is situated at the bottom of the camera. In most cases, it's off. It needs to be really, really dark for this camera to actually switch on the light. It's not always on, but you can actually determine when you want to switch it on and off. So you also have control of the brightness and those kind of things, and what time you should switch it on, switch on and off. Right, but in most cases, it doesn't need the light because of the high sensitivity sensor, the f1.0 aperture, iris on the lens, and so forth. So there's a couple of things that the camera's got built in, which means it doesn't always need the white light to be on. All right, so if we quickly look at a few cameras, the 23 series type in a 4 or 4 megapixel resolutions. All of them will have H.265 and 265 plus compression capability. You can see right through the back. All of them have got it. 0.0035 lux. I mean, that is really, really, really dark. So these cameras can still operate without its white light at these levels and still give us a good, proper color image. The white light built in will illuminate the area for up to about 30 meters. And again, you can see right through the back, all of them will do about 30 meters. Then the differences comes in now with the final 2 things: 5 VCAs, 5 video content analysis, or 5 analytics built into this camera. This one also has 5. This one has only got 2, which is your normal line crossing and intrusion detection. And then the other thing, you can see some models have got a U option. The U option means that it's got a built-in microphone. And that is very helpful in a lot of cases. All right, so that's a quick introduction of the different series, the 23 series turret over there, the 2T series bullet and 20 series bullets that we've got available for you. All right, excellent news. Analog is also, ColorVu is also coming in analog one of these days. So just to check with your indies. Oh, by the way, your indies already have stock of the ColorVu cameras, so please inquire with them if you are interested in this. All right, so you saw the benefits of the ColorVu cameras. The ColorVu cameras are fantastic at nighttime, especially with the vivid coloring, 24/7 color cameras to make them so phenomenal. So the ColorVu cameras are really, really fantastic. I hope you've got a couple of sites where you can actually install this and get the benefit from these cameras. All right, so next up, we're gonna look at AcuSense. I don't know if you've heard about AcuSense, AcuSense technology, but I will quickly introduce AcuSense to you. All right, so everything you need to know about AcuSense. What is AcuSense and what can I get from these cameras? All right, so first of all, there are prizes. All right, so we've got AcuSense prize time. We're going to have a lucky draw, and we will draw 2 lucky winners at the end of this presentation. But it's not just a lucky draw for that, just for any reason. We specifically are going to ask you a question. You need to answer the question correctly, and we will draw 2 lucky names from this presentation, and we will announce them at the end of this presentation. All right, so how does this lucky draw work? You need to answer a question. You can use a chat box at the bottom for this. So I want you to please answer in the chat box, how many times did the players wearing black pass the basketball? I'm going to show you a quick video. How many times did the players wearing black pass the basketball? Are you ready? All right, let's have a look at the video and see how many times the guys passed the video. Correct answers, please answer them in the chat box below, and I'm going to quickly start the video. Okay, so you need to answer put your answers into the chat box, and at the end of this presentation, we will draw a lucky winner. Did you get how many times? It is quite difficult. All right, okay. What was the purpose of this video? Why did I show you this video? Okay, so did you notice this lady in white who took the bag at the back? Did you all see? Maybe not. This is a test done by Dr. Daniel Simons. It was a selective attention test a while ago. We all saw this video doing the rounds on social media and so forth. But the purpose of this test is to see your attention span, the focus, and all those kind of things, and what we really do miss in life. Okay, so what again is the purpose? Why did we show you this? 50% of people actually missed unusual events, or missed the lady in white walking behind in that scene taking the bag. All right, so that is the big problem. Missing events, missing things that is necessary to notice in your video. All right, so the correct answer is actually 22 times. The basketball was passed between the players wearing black, was passed 22 times between themselves. All right, so the correct answer 22 times. We will have a lucky draw at the end of this presentation to see who actually got that right. All right, so from the video we saw our attention it's subject to external distraction and influence, right? Not all of us actually picked up that lady in the background. That is the biggest problem with surveillance these days, is that we miss information, right? Vital information. Okay, they don't get distracted. They do exactly what they are programmed to do, right? To look out for these kind of things, right? Okay, so the purpose, 24-hour monitoring, not missing anything, making your systems a lot more secure and picking up vital information that we as humans might miss. See, the camera didn't miss any person there. The cameras actually picked up, or the systems actually picked up all of it. It didn't miss. All right. Just say, do people really need to pay attention to everything that pops into the window? It's not always necessary. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, right? It depends on the scene. It depends on what is needed. It depends on what happens. All right. So what if it's just a stray dog or something running around there? Do we need to pay attention to this? Not really. What if it's leaves blowing in the wind or branches blowing in the wind, triggering line crossings, intrusion detections, causing a whole lot of false alarms? Do we have to pay attention to these things? No, it actually wastes time looking at these things and investigating every single alarm. So how do we get around this? How do we fix this? How do we make it easier? AcuSense. All right. So events that occur is not always worth the attention. But how do we distinguish? How do we focus? How do we really see these things? And which ones do we disregard? Which ones do we focus on? And do we always focus on the correct ones? That is the question. All right. So AcuSense will focus. AcuSense will actually focus and act on the key events that actually happens. Right. AcuSense's purpose is to focus on humans and vehicles. Right. That is one of the purposes of an AcuSense camera or AcuSense system, for that matter, to focus on these things and not miss anything. All right. So it's looking for selected targets, humans or vehicles or both. On-site response, you really have immediate response from these systems, okay? And then obviously better efficiency. A lot of people would have missed that lady in the background. The camera wouldn't have. All right, so what is so special about the AcuSense camera? Right. If we compare them with previous technology, our PIR's cameras focused on body heat, right? So body heat, large dogs and things like that could also trigger those kind of cameras. So it's not flawless, right? Your traditional VCAs or analytics, line crossings, intrusion detections, also doesn't always pick up all the necessary information. But combined with AcuSense, it's flawless. All right, so how do we apply AcuSense products in real-life scenarios? Where can we use this? Can you think of a few situations, a few scenarios where you could use it? I could definitely. All right, let's look at the normal homeowner. All right, requirement. We need to get notified when somebody walks up to the house. All right, let me get my laser pointer here again. All right, so we need to get notified when a person walks up to the house or enters a specific area. All right, so how do we get this? You need to draw like a line crossing or something like that, and then that will pick up humans that comes into the specific areas. All right. Second requirement, we need to get notified when a vehicle enters the parking area. So we've got a parking area over here. I want to know whenever a vehicle enters this area. What do? Not a problem. We use an AcuSense camera for that. All right. So the AcuSense cameras will detect humans or vehicles or a combination of the two when they come into areas, line crossings, intrusion detections, even just motion detection. And then that could trigger an alarm for you. All right, so, and that is the purpose of these cameras. So we want to get rid of the false alarms, and we want to focus purely on the line crossings and the intrusion detection triggered by humans and vehicles, because those are the guys that will normally break in, right? Sometimes cats, cat burglars. No, hold on. No, okay. So what do? Another requirement. We need to provide some form of deterrence when it's difficult to have security to react and arrive to the scene quickly. So if you don't have on-site security, what do? How can you deter? How can you pick up? All right, so we've got an answer for that. All right, if you have a person entering and deter. All right, how does it work? So we've got strobe lights built into some of these cameras. So a strobe light will actually, the camera will detect, and the strobe light will start flashing, warning people that they've been detected and hopefully stop the crime. They know they've been detected. All right, now coming back to the control room or the recordings. How many hours have you wasted in front of a screen looking for incidents? I know I have wasted a lot of hours. Now the problem is trying to find your key events, the actual event of the actual break-in or the crime or the incident. All right. So we need to find a clip quickly, right? Obviously related to the event, but you don't need to sit through all the video footage. Previously, we had to. You had to sit and play through the video for hours and hours and hours until you eventually find your incident. All right. But wait. AcuSense can actually help you filter these things out. So we can actually go into the recorded footage and tell the NVR that we are looking for just humans or just vehicles, or humans and vehicles triggered by a specific camera in a specific time frame, whatever. So AcuSense will actually then filter out all these things and only show you the relevant events, saving you hours. Right. Okay, so it'll find the classified footage. So it depends on what you search for. If you're searching for humans, it'll show you all the human clips. If you're searching for vehicles, it'll show you all the vehicle clips. Easy as that. It's so much quicker and so much faster to find, and so much easier, to find your actual event than having to sit and play through hours and hours and hours of video footage. Right. All right, so the actual technology. What do we have? What can we offer you? All right, when it comes to AcuSense. All right, so AcuSense family consists of IP cameras, and it consists of NVRs and DVRs. So we do have an analog solution for this as well. So there are different combinations. We're going to talk about the combinations a little bit later. But now you know we have them in both IP and analog. All right, but it could be expensive, or could it? Maybe you can save a couple of bucks. What if you just need one camera? What then? Can you just use a camera or not? Right, so that'll obviously, if you can use a camera, make it a lot cheaper. All right, so it's a standalone system, can work in real time. So yes, you can just use a camera. So if you have, let's say, a corridor, you stay in a block of flats, you've got a camera outside your door, you only want to know when a person approaches your door, not if, a cat or a dog walks there or something like that. So you can get notified of this. But we can go one step further. We call this AcuSense Live Guard. Live Guard, what does it mean? I'll tell you in a moment. All right, so two options. So AcuSense Live Guard or just your normal AcuSense cameras. All right, let's quickly have a look at the two. What can they offer you? All right, so a standalone system with real-time alert. And that's where the camera or the Live Guard part comes in, the alert part. All right, so AcuSense network camera or AcuSense Live Guard. So Live Guard can actually make an alarm as soon as a person approaches or triggers a certain area and stuff. So either person or vehicle for that matter. All right. So these things will pick up humans and vehicles or vehicles. And then obviously you can make an alarm to your eConnect. So you can see, I can get the camera to push a notification directly to my app. I don't need to have an NVR or a huge, big system, very expensive system to make this work. It can be quite inexpensive. All right. So again, the normal AcuSense cameras and the Live Guard cameras can do this. All right, so that'll pick up humans or vehicles, push a notification to your eConnect app. You can see live video, you can see recorded footage, because you can actually record onto an SD card on the camera itself. All right, okay, sorry, I forgot the strobe light. So apart from the audible warning that you can get, you also get a strobe light notification. So people entering these areas will know that they've been detected because the strobe light will actually start flashing, drawing their attention, and then obviously you'll have the audible alarm as well. All right, so the standalone system, so that's your typical one camera and so forth. Unique benefits. It's obviously a lot cheaper just to have one camera. It offers core functionality of AcuSense, so your accurate alarms on this because it does the human and vehicle filtering. Optional on-site deterrence with the Live Guard AcuSense camera making the audible noises and the strobe light flashing and so forth, and obviously timely notification because it happens immediately and you get a notification pushed to your eConnect phone. All right, so it's a limited budget. You only have to purchase the one camera, so it's entry-level type of a system. and you don't need a specific or huge type of system. All right, that's product solution number one. So again, different types of cameras. I'm not going to go through every camera specification. You can see that we have IR up to 80 meters maximum for these cameras, but they're both to your false alarm reduction. They both only focuses on humans and vehicles. Well, if you need to, they can trigger on all of them if you want to, but the whole purpose of the AcuSense camera is to do this false alarm filtering for you and save you a lot of time and money. All right, so scenario number two. If you already have a security system, but you want to have the AcuSense functionality, what do? Do you throw out the whole system and replace it with the whole AcuSense system, or is there a cheaper option, an easier option? Yes, there is. All right, so you can actually start reusing your current cameras. It's not AcuSense, right? So how do we do this thing, right? So it makes it a lot more cost effective. All you have to do is, this is your existing systems. You've got existing cameras, you've got an existing NVR. All you have to do is you keep your existing cameras, you then replace your recorder with an AcuSense IP NVR or an AcuSense DVR for that matter. So we can reuse the cameras, making it a lot cheaper and just rely on an AcuSense NVR or DVR. All right, so we can still get the human and vehicle intrusion detections. All right, so the false alarm filtering is there because it's done by the recorder, the backend unit. All right, you get your push notification because, again, guessed it, coming from your recorder. All right, and then obviously quick target search. We can actually find and search for just humans or just vehicles or both of them. Again, where does it happen? Right on your recorder. So you can see that you can keep your current cameras and then use an AcuSense NVR or DVR to help you with this false alarm filtering. All right, so benefits. It saves you cost of rewiring the whole system and replacing all the cameras and replacing everything. And you just basically replace your recorder with an AcuSense NVR or DVR. And it uses normal motion detection. You don't have to do line crossing or intrusion detection. You can, but you can also run AcuSense on just motion detection. So again, the main point of this is the cost effectiveness, because you do reuse your cameras. You just replace your NVR or your DVR. All right, here's a typical example of a NVR. So there are a certain amount of channels. So if you just go for the NVR itself, so the 4S over here tells you how many channels can I use for this accurate false alarm reduction. So 4 channels I can dedicate for certain cameras using normal cameras. The NVR then does a second analysis on those camera streams on 4 of those selected channels to do your human and vehicle false alarm filtering. So I'm not going to go through all the spec of all of the NVRs, just know that it is available. All right, we also have it for DVRs. So for the DVRs, we also have the AcuSense functionality where it also does the human and vehicle filtering. So both analog and IP. So if you have an existing analog system, you don't have to replace the whole system with an IP system just to get the benefit. Use your current analog cameras, connect them to your AcuSense DVR, and then do your false alarm filtering. And the same goes for the IP system. You don't have to replace everything. Okay. Now, the last scenario, all channels, AcuSense based on VCA. So this is obviously a higher end system. We need all the channels to be, or to have the AcuSense functionality. So it's obviously much more comprehensive, but it's very flexible because you still have options for these things, right? So how do I know, what do I do, what do I choose, where and when? Okay, so you can use AcuSense IP cameras with an AcuSense NVR, all right? So the whole point of this is to be able to have AcuSense on as many channels as you want. All right, so comprehensive human and vehicle detection on all the channels. We've got strobe light and audible warning like you saw with the AcuSense Live Guard cameras. And then obviously your push notifications like we discussed earlier to your HIG Connect, to your control rooms, the 4200 HIG Central, wherever you want to push it. Okay, and then obviously the quick target search, which helps with your investigations, your incident searches. But it's flexible because you can choose the number of channels that you want to do the AcuSense filtering on. And obviously it's reaching options for both the cameras. You can choose either AcuSense cameras, NVRs, combinations of them, and so forth. So very flexible when it comes to All right, I'm not going to go through all the specifications. You can see for the AcuSense cameras, we've got the cameras, we've got the NVRs. This is the one option. Another option is basically AcuSense cameras working with your normal I-series NVRs as well. So there's different options when it comes to this. It depends on how many channels you want to have AcuSense false alarm filtering on. It's up to you. All right, so the benefits. You can go for all the channels on the system to be AcuSense, or to have the AcuSense ability, false alarm filtering. So you can either go for all the channels, you can choose the number of channels, you don't have to have all of them, but you can do more than just the 4 that we identified earlier. And obviously you have the full benefits. You can have your accurate alarm filtering, your strobe light and audible warnings with the AcuSense live guard cameras, and your quick target searches. And I think this guy here will save us a tremendous amount of time and obviously man hours with that. So if you require a high level of security, this is your typical system, AcuSense cameras and AcuSense NVR, and obviously a high flexibility because you got the option to have AcuSense on all the channels if you want to. All right, so it's easy to set up. How easy? Motion detection. I think we all know motion detection. And did you know by default, motion detection on our cameras and systems are enabled by default? So that one already done for you. All you have to do is enable the AcuSense function. What are you looking for? Humans or vehicles or both? So tick, tick, quite easy to set up. All right, so like I mentioned, it's also available for both analog and IP. So analog system would typically look like this. You've got your normal analog cameras running with an AcuSense DVR. So you can see the analog cameras of your choice along with an AcuSense DVR. So the DVR does the actual analysis on for false alarms on that type of analog system. Or you've got the IP. So obviously IP side, we've got a few more options. We can go for AcuSense cameras and an AcuSense NVR, which means you can go full channels. All the channels on that system could be AcuSense if you want to. Or if budget is a little bit more limited, you don't require AcuSense on all the channels, you can go for AcuSense cameras in the key points where you need it and a normal NVR or I-series NVR in that system there. Or you can go for normal cameras if you already have an existing system and you don't want to throw out all the normal cameras and replace them with AcuSense. You can still use or reuse your AcuSense, the normal cameras, and get an AcuSense NVR, but there'll obviously be a limited amount of channels. So the flexibility, the options are there. It depends on you and what you need to do and how many channels you want this for. All right, so it is time for the lucky draw. How many of you did actually get the answer correct? All right, so remember the ball was passed between the players wearing black, was passed 22 times. So let's quickly have a look and see how many people actually got this right. So actually we're going to choose 2 lucky winners for this. The prize for this is 400 rands worth of airtime, no matter which network you're with. So Jade will quickly share to us 2 lucky draws. Let me just quickly stop sharing over here so she can get her screen on. There we go. Hi, Jade.
Hi, Hero. We're together, actually. Let me share. Actually, we will have a screenshot it, and there's 2 winners. Can you see my screen now? You see it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see
that Jox is the first one to answer the right, and like Rio said, our right answer is 22 times. So congratulations, Jox. Please contact me for the airtime after the webinar. And the second winner is the second person who answered right first. Answered right, and the person's name is Michael Witteven. Witteven, yeah. Anyway, Michael, congratulations. So please contact me after the webinar, and later we will have another lucky draw for 4 people at the end of the webinar. Okay, so now let's hand over to Hunter for doing the demo for AcuSense and the ColorVu. Hunter.
Hey, hello everyone. Can everybody hear me? Because we are 15,000 kilometers away from each other. I'm in Hikvision, China. Okay, this is my badge. I'm in HQ right now. So tonight we will give you two demo just about the products we'll just talk about. The first one is the AcuSense and another one is the ColorVu. Okay, so Quentin, could you help me to switch to the AcuSense view for me? Thanks. Okay, everybody, can everybody see me? Okay, I think I'm here. So this is the view of the AcuSense camera. Okay, so now you guys might see that's a lot of pop-ups, right? Can everybody see that pop-ups? I mean, it's so annoying. Again, right? Okay, so Quentin, could you delete this? Yeah, let's do it again. Yeah. So it will give you a lot of pop-ups if you just have a normal camera. Okay, so today the AcuSense, we're helping you to reduce that false alarms. Okay, so Quentin, could you turn on the configuration site of it? Can everybody see this configuration site? Everybody see it? Oh, nope. So maybe we should switch to, okay, what about, okay, because we want to show you, okay, one more time. So I just want to share this so everybody can see this, and I think now everybody can see this, right? Good. So now let's turn on the vehicle. Okay. So this vehicle means only the vehicle will be regarded as a target. Then other targets, they will not. Sorry. Then other targets, they will not be regarded as a target. Okay. So they will be ignored, filtered out. Okay. So now let's try again. Okay. This is me again. So now only vehicle. So this is me. Okay. Okay. Is that alarm? No. Okay. No. Good. So now I will show you guys a Chinese animal we have. Okay. This one. I don't know the name of it. It seems like a sheep or goat or deer. I don't know. I just call this Chinese springbok. Okay. So now I use my Chinese springbok to pass this line, to cross this line. Okay. It doesn't work. Okay. No alarm. So Quentin, you want to put another animal in here? Okay. This is chinchilla. So it's it's some kind of rat. Okay. This is a Japanese animal. So now we have two animals, they're trying to cross this line together, but none of them will trigger the alarm. So that's a problem. It's not a problem, let's solve your problem, right? Okay, good, thank you. Take this out. All right, yeah, thank you for your animal. So again, I'm gonna take out my Range Rover, this one. Okay, it is a Range Rover, okay. It is Range Rover, it's a red, okay, red Range Rover. Okay, I will let my Range Rover cross this line. Okay, it pop up, all right? So could you delete that? Okay, so this is my Range Rover, okay? Only the vehicles, they're gonna trigger the alarm. Okay, here we go. All right, so Quentin, let's try with the, oh, by the way, let me go through again. It's a human, right? Human doesn't trigger, good. So Quentin, let's switch to the human filter. Okay, good. So we enable the human and disable the vehicle. Okay, save it. Good. Let's go back to the IVMS 4200. Good. So now we'll let this Range Rover try again. Okay. You guys can see this is a red line right here, right? This is the red line. The line seems like red. So it's supposed to have alarm, right? But actually, nope, because the line got crossed, they feel like, oh, something crossed the line, so they got the red alarms. But the alarm will not be triggered because this is not our target. Our target is human, not vehicle. So for example, me, I pass here. Okay, here we go. This human crossed the line and that triggered the alarm. Okay, so this is the human and the vehicle. Then what if we enable both human and the vehicle? Okay, we save that. Okay, So now I guess my Range Rover gonna trigger the alarm. Okay, good. So what about me, myself? Okay, I triggered the alarm as well. Sorry, again. All right, so what about my Springbok, the Chinese Springbok? Okay, oh no, he's safe. He doesn't trigger the alarm. Actually, he doesn't trigger the alarm. Also this chinchilla, okay? They all not trigger the alarm. Okay, so here we go. This is the AcuSense. All right, it's very easy to operate. Okay, yeah, that's enough. All right, so it's actually very easy to configure because I mean, Hikvision has done 99% of the configuration for you. So you only need to enable the human filter or the vehicle filter. Okay, it's very, very simple. It's a high-end technology, but it's an easy configuration. Okay, so this is the AcuSense. So now I will quickly switch to another view that is the ColorVu. Okay, so Quentin, would you help me? Okay, can everybody see me here? So you guys might see me in 3 screens, right? So 1, 2, 3. I think you guys can see me in 3 screens. There's only one me because tonight we bring 3 cameras and we want to do a quick comparison for you guys. And the first one, you guys see this one, is the black and white, right? It's a black and white because we make it black and white. We want to compare the IR camera to other cameras. Okay, so this is the first one. It's black and white, right? Good. Then this is the second one. This is the EZ-IP 3.0. It's also a powered by Darkfighter camera. Okay, so this is camera number 2. And the third one is this one. This is the main course for tonight, the ColorVu, right? Okay, so I just got this. In China, we call this pumpkin. I hope you guys call it the same name. So you guys can see this orange, right? And then these are 3 trash cans. This is yellow, I guess. This is blue, I guess. This is green, I guess. Okay, so Quentin, just make sure everybody can see the screen, okay? All right, so yellow, blue, green. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna show you guys another Range Rover from me. So this is my Range Rover number 2, and this is Range Rover number 1. So yellow, red, yellow, blue, green. Everybody agree, right? So people might think, okay, so from the video, it doesn't see much difference between different cameras, you know, even, okay, so this is black and white, okay, anyway, but this one, okay, but the middle one, the EZ-IP 3.0, the powered by Darkfighter camera, I mean, also the color image is not as good as the ColorVu, but you can still see the color anyway, right? Yep, because now the condition is perfect. So Quentin, could you help me to turn off the lights? Okay. So then we're gonna see the difference. Okay, completely dark. Quentin, please. Oops. Oh yeah, usually when I see a darkness like this, I should sing a song, Happy Birthday, right? Okay, anyway. So now let me get you guys closer. So can you guys still see the colors? The black and white. So Quentin, could you switch to the black and white image? The black and white, right? Can everybody see the color? So Quentin, switch to the second camera, the powered by Darkfighter, not the ColorVu one. Can everybody see the colors? No? Yes or no? Maybe a little bit, but you are not sure. Okay, so Quentin, how about the ColorVu? Okay, so is that clear, Quentin? Is that clear? Done. Sorry, I just hold it too high. Okay, so what is this? Yeah, yellow. What is this? Red. Okay, so this is going to be the lucky draw questions. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so good. This is the ColorVu. All right, not yet, not yet. So right now, I want to quickly show you guys the night view of Hangzhou, the city that I live in right now, because we got 6 hours time difference. So it is in the morning in South Africa, then No. This is afternoon in South Africa, but now it's nighttime in China. Okay, now we're gonna turn around. Sorry, we're gonna turn around the view. Okay, good. Now we're gonna turn around. Oh. Okay, good. Turn. So now I wanna turn it for you guys. Just make sure everybody can see the view in Hangzhou. Okay, good. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, good. Oops. All right, good. Okay, good. Now, all right. So yeah, it's me again. So now let's quickly switch to the night view of Hangzhou. How do you like it? Yay. It's okay. Right, not yet. Okay. Let me show you guys something here. Okay, how about this? How about this? Then let me turn on this. Oops, I think you guys should see some difference now, right? Okay. What about now, guys? There's a big difference, right? So Quentin, could you give each camera a large screen? So the first one for the black and white. Okay, this is black and white, then the powered by Darkfighter Easy IP 3.0. Okay, give him the large image. Okay, this is the second one and the last one, the ColorVu. Okay, so when the dark night is no longer dark, and you will know your money is worth it. Okay, so thank you guys. That's the demo for the AcuSense and the ColorVu for tonight. So if you have any question, feel free to ask or leave a comment in the chat box. Okay, we got technician colleagues, they can help you with the questions. All right, thank you guys. Now I'm gonna surrender the screen to Rule for our next part, the MinMoe device. All right, thank you guys.
Hi there, me again. All right, so let's quickly have a look at the MinMoe technology. So we've covered the ColorVu and AcuSense, which is fantastic technology. But on a more related note, we all obviously know about COVID and this and that and whatever, and all the safety measures we have to put in place and so on, and that's where the MinMoe comes in. All right, so let's quickly have a look at what it is and how this will, how we can benefit from the MinMoe technology. All right, so we're going to look at the facial recognition era. I think a lot of you already know about facial recognition. We're going to quickly give you a solution overview as well as a product showcase in this presentation. And after the presentation, we're going to go over to Hunter again, and he's going to show us practically how to use this device and how it physically works. All right, so the global access control market, I mean, we all know about lock and keys. This is a very primitive way, but we all still use it because of, you know, it's cost effective to have locks and keys and have doors locked and so forth. The problem with this is, you know, keys get lost, they get stolen, and there's no control. So when a door is opened, you would think that it'd be the person that had a key, but it might not be the person that had the key because that person might have lost it or whatever the case might be. There's no control over this really. All right, then we moved over to passwords and cards or whatever, you know, badging a card for access control and so forth. Make it a little bit more secure. We now have a little bit more control because I know who this person was, or I think I know who this person was, badging a card, because, I mean, that card's got the person's identification or the information related to that person. But again, that card could be loaned to someone, could be stolen, could be lost. And again, I don't really have the control that I thought that I have. Right, so how do we make this a little bit more personal to make sure it's the right person? We went over to biometrics. Now, that's a little bit more difficult to clone, your fingerprint itself. So everyone went over to biometrics, which is more user identifiable. It's a little bit more difficult to lose your finger. Can still happen, but it's a little bit more difficult to lose that or forget the finger at home. Right, so it gives us a little bit more security and so on, but it's not quite flawless. Right, so you'll see that there's a lot of enterprises throughout the world that's involved in the biometric industry and so forth. It's been booming, whatever, because it's a lot more secure than a card or a lock or a key or something like that. All right, so people started to realize this more and more and more, and obviously the need and the benefit of going over to biometrics, right? But the problem is that, okay, we'll get to that point later, a little bit later. So you can see fingerprint identification. It takes about 58% of the market in total if you look at access control and then facial recognition and so forth and so forth. So these two is actually this topic we're going to talk a little bit more about today. Because the problem is with biometrics, we have to now touch things which we don't really want to touch right now at this time of the year or this time of the pandemic and so forth. So we need to get away from touching things and getting close to things and so forth. So we need to, right? So facial recognition is going to help us with the system. No more touching and this and that, or what are we getting too close to things? But now, is facial recognition really trending? Is it really going somewhere? Now, if we look at past market segments and so forth, now this is measured in $1 billion, right? So 0.38 in 2008, and then it escalated and escalated. In 2019, we were sitting at 2.33 billion, big number, US dollars, when it came to facial recognition, right? And the annual growth rate is nearly 20%. So there's a lot of market in there for us. And it'll most likely reach about $4 billion by 2023. That is like 3 years, 2.5 years from now, which is not a long time. So it's now. You have to grab this right now. Okay, so if we look at facial recognition, it's been rapidly developed the last couple of years and so forth throughout the whole world. In China, we had $862 million market reach from facial recognition. And in Europe, $452 million. And that was just, in the last short while. So you can actually see where we're going with facial recognition. It's an absolute necessity at the moment. Let's quickly compare them again. All right, so let's quickly have a look at cards. All right, cards, we normally have speeds of less than ½ second, so no real bottlenecks and things like that when you have a lot of people trying to enter a specific entrance. Distance, we don't really have to touch the card, although I think most of us, we tap it, so we always touch the things and so forth. So, but you don't have to, but you have to get close to the readers in less than 10 centimeters. Accuracy, normally 100%. Efficiency, that's okay, but we can easily lose these cards or they can get stolen and somebody else can gain access with your card to a premises and so forth. Right, so we moved over to a little bit more secure way of doing things, fingerprints, right? So fingerprint speeds are normally less than a second recognition. The problem is this guy over here. And especially nowadays, we cannot really afford this part anymore, right? So accuracy, not 100%, but it's quite accurate. Efficiency, it's quite effective, right? The problem is also, again, wear and tear. If you look at elderly and like construction workers and so forth, their fingerprints wear off, which means that, again, I cannot use fingerprint or biometric readers in those applications. So that is a problem. They have to go back to cards again, but cards, again, it's got all the problems that it's got. All right, so we're going to go over to facial recognition. Right, so facial recognition, less, the speed that we normally recognize a face is less than 0.2 seconds. So, okay, guns, bottlenecks, right? So the bottlenecking, if you have a lot of mine workers going through a certain entrance, whatever, there will not be bottlenecks because of this, right? We do not have to touch. That's a big pointer here. So we don't have to touch these things now. And we can go from 0.3 meters to 1.5 meters away from any things that we don't have to touch, and it'll do recognition. So recognition accuracy, 99%. It's way up there. It's quite good. And efficiency, it is perfect, right? A little bit more difficult to clone this thing. We'll definitely not forget it at home, and hopefully don't lose it, right? So a little bit more secure. All right, so why facial access control, right? So we saw that the cards, that can be copied and so forth. Fingerprints, fake fingerprint risks and so forth. Fake face risk, I mean, that's a problem. If you print a picture or whatever of somebody's got access, you point it towards the facial recognition readers, the cameras and so forth, that might open the door, right? Used to. Right. Multiple verification ways. We've got, if you go for this type of system, you can use cards, passwords, pins, those kind of things. When you go for fingerprint, biometric entrances. So you can use your fingerprint, maybe a card and a PIN code as well. But with faces, we can do face, fingerprint, card, password. You can do a combination of all of them. Right, security level, not as high because of the reasons we already discussed. Security level on the fingerprints, you know, they can be copied and so forth. So it's better than cards, but not quite. Facial security, way better. Right. All right, so let's quickly have a look at the MinMoe touch-free solution. And again, this is the key word, especially now. We don't want to touch things, right? So we're going to quickly have a look at the access control. Features will include time and attendance, payroll system integrations, entrance application management, community intercom solutions. So yeah, intercom functionality built in, and this big thing over here as well, temperature screening. So you can see you get a whole lot just in that unit over there. Right, so different options. Right, so different solutions here. We've got our MinMoe face terminal. So we call it a face terminal. It's a full controller with facial recognition, everything built in. That can be bundled with a Hikvision access controller or connected directly to our turnstiles or swing gate barriers. Right, so that's one option. You can use it with an existing system, or and then just upgrade the system with a facial recognition terminal. So you can have your facial recognition MinMoe terminal bundled with third-party access controllers and so forth. So you can see flexibility in there. You don't have to chuck away the whole system and put in a whole new installation or do a whole new installation. You can just add this part here. And we saw the benefits. We saw the functions of what this unit can give us, but we're going to talk about them again. All right, so let's quickly have a recap. So you've got your facial terminals. They can be bundled with the swing gate barriers. They can talk back to Hikvision controllers, or they can just talk back to your backend software, whether it's Central, IMS 4200, but we also have the option for third-party systems. So third-party integration absolutely can be done. You don't have to chuck out the whole system, just upgrade it with this part over here. All right, so we need to get away from fingerprints. This is a big no-no at the moment. So how do we get around it? We go for facial, but we don't just do facial recognition. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, you know, elderly people, people that work hard, construction workers, mine workers, and so forth, their fingerprints do wear off, which means a fingerprint or biometric system is not really the answer. It's not really effective in those applications. So what do? You can't go back to cards because, you know, card issues. All right, so we need to replace the cards and fingerprints with facial recognition. So it's fast and convenient, and it allows multiple verification types. So if you have a very high security level area that you want to have access to, you can have a combination of facial recognition, card, fingerprint, and pins, and all those kind of things. You can have a combination of all these things to make sure there's no copying and it's high risk, high security levels. All right, so time and attendance. A lot of people ask about time and attendance. Yes, we do have. So we've got the MinMoe facial terminals directly back to our Hikvision software, and you can actually draw logs and everything from our Central 4200 and so forth. You can get the logs from there, or you can integrate it directly. You can see integration's already been done into third-party software. So for payroll, time and attendance, yes, we can. All right, so time and attendance and payroll solution, how does it work, right? So you need a background server. That's typically our Central 4200, so automatically generate data, and you only need the Hikvision software running in the background, right? So you can draw your reports from there and so forth, right? You can also have real-time logs. So real-time logs picked up by Jira's time. So integration already done for you. So keep it in mind for payroll. All right, here's a typical case study that's been done by AFRIT. AFRIT put in more than 50 MinMoe face recognition terminals and have more than 1,000 employees. Now, you can see, I mean, these are turnstiles. It takes time to get through these things, but because of the time duration, it does the facial recognition in less than 0.2 seconds. No bottlenecking. All right, so they are using it for access control, obviously payroll management. So integration, everything's already been done, already fully functional. All right, so where can we use this? What are the applications for this? Obviously the office. Yes, we can do it at the offices, especially if we think about the payroll and so forth, but also for the access control part. making sure you can only go wherever you need to go. The same goes for hospitals. If you look at schools, you know, how we make schools safer, first of all, we don't want all the kids to touch things and whatever, and make it smarter. So we've got attendance records and all those things, you know, your kids at school and so forth. So it also can be used in government. More efficiency or higher efficiency in your communities and so forth. If you've got a gated community, you can put a terminal right there and only allow people in and out whatever times that they need to. Factories as well, so for clocking times and so on. So you can see there's a whole bunch of applications, and obviously we can't put all of them on the screen, but you can imagine where they can be used. All right, so let's quickly have a look. MinMoe Face Terminal. This is now for entrances, right? So you drive up with your car, you stop at the boom gate, and you roll down your window, you look at the facial terminal. That's your full access control, right? So access, that'll then trigger the boom gate, or you can have an ANPR camera. But if you look over here, we can make it quite safe. So we can tell the system to match the driver and the vehicle. So the number plate needs to match with the face. They need to be both verified, and then only the boom can open. So a good option with that. You don't have to get out your car. This can be done, facial recognition can be done for up to 1.5 meters away from the terminal. So you don't have to walk right up to the unit itself. So the driver can stay in the car. So it helps a lot with that. You can actually import the camera from the facial terminal into an NVR and have a record. So there's extra footage for you for security purposes. Now, if a person, let's say, drives up to the boom gate, but is not a registered staff or registered person to actually go through this area, is maybe a visitor, what he can then do is use this device as an intercom. He can then contact the call center. The call center can either have security control room or whatever, can either have a monitor like this to answer the call. Who are you? Who are you coming to see? Okay, come through this, whatever. So they can interrogate this person and then direct him as needed. So quick recap. Facial recognition terminal, full database on it. They can do boom gate triggers and gate openings and so forth directly. You can combine it with an ANPR camera. So an ANPR camera can recognize the number plate. That number plate needs to match the face and card and finger and pin and whatever combinations you use. And then only if those two conditions match, then we can open up booms. These cameras can be recorded onto your standard NVRs. All right. If a person is a visitor, they can use the device as a two-way intercom unit. So there's two-way audio and video, obviously one-way video to the control room, but two-way audio. So the control room can be contacted, and then they can decide whether they open the gate or not, or maybe get somebody to escort. All right. So you can see a lot of flexibility, a lot of applications for this, and everything can then obviously be reported back to your Vision backend. So using the 4200 or the Central systems. All right, so a successful case where this has been used in Cape Town, right? There's an estate in Somerset West where this has been installed, the facial recognition for the typical example like I just mentioned. And this goes to prove that we can use these devices outdoors. So it is fully outdoors. You don't have to put it indoors only. But yeah, in the Eastern Cape, it's already been, Western Cape has already been used in Somerset West at an estate there very successfully. So they've got the facial recognition and the ANPR, like I mentioned on the previous slide. All right, so another case study. So what they've done is the MinMoe terminals, like we just saw, they've got the intercom unit for the typical visitors, and these visitors can then be contacted with the eConnect app. So you don't have to be home to be able to answer the intercom when a visitor comes and wants to get into the estate to come and visit you. You don't have to be there. You can get the call on your app as well, and then also open the gate if you want to. All right, so that's the one option. So your internal call, so the call can be called from there. You can call from there to this over here. If you're not at home, or maybe you're outside having like a braai or whatever, you can actually answer the call from your phone. The other one is the mobile call. So we've got the MinMoe terminal, we've got the intercom unit along with the master station. So if you've got a typical estate or apartment blocks or whatever, local security control room, this call can actually be directed to your master station, and they could answer the call. They can then contact you there, and then you can have access to the site or access to open the gates and so forth. So Here we can choose HeConnect, the HeConnect mobile app, obviously to receive these calls again, no matter what you've got in the system. All right, so there's a case study done in Sataya apartment blocks. So they have 12 modular gate stations, so 12 gates where people can actually drive through, 72 indoor units. You can see the indoor units being prepped over there, and then one master station for their control room purposes. So it's a full Ignition solution with a facial intercom unit that's been installed over there. All right, so different options here for temperature screening topology, temperature screening technology. So we can use the MinMoe with the facial recognition terminal with the temperature screening built into the unit. So this is a typical entrance. See, it's a door or a gate or something like that. Entrance with temperature screening face recognition terminal. So the face needs to be recognized, temperature needs to be taken, all those kind of things before the doors will open. Right, another option could be an entrance with the temperature screening. So just people coming and visiting. There's no, it's like door control or access control specifically, but the temperatures can still be screened by these units and so forth. And then we have the swing gate barriers. So here's the typical entrance with a swing gate barrier. So facial, a temperature screening face recognition device with the barrier. So swing gate barrier, so it can be combined like this over here. And then we have the entrance with temperature screening and walk-through metal detector. So this is your typical metal detector that you walk through, but we also do temperature screening over here. So a couple of different options or solutions. We're going to talk about all of them in a moment. All right, so let's quickly have a look at just the temperature screening solution. Okay, now this is obviously for display purposes, but you can see this guy's temperature is okay. You can actually set the temperature, but we normally recommend about 37.5 degrees to create alarm. A screen, so we're happy with this person. This person's been recognized, access granted. If your temperature is above what the temperature needs are, so let's call it 37.5 or whatever, and even if the person have got access rights, it will still be denied. All right, so there's different options of how you can set this up. All right, so typical setup of the walk-through metal detector. So you've got your walk-through metal detector or detectors as you wish, your HEC central backup, your NVR for recording the video, and so forth. So this is a typical scenario, how this happens. The person arrives, they walk through your detector door, your walk-through metal detector, and then if the body temperature is normal, then they can pass, right? If it's not normal, it needs to be measured with typical medical type of measurement equipment or a thermometer or some kind of device, something like that, that needs to be verified. Okay, then if the body temperature is normal, decided by this, and then obviously a person using that, then obviously pass, or if the temperature still isn't correct, then they need to go for treatment or be checked out. All right, so this walk-through metal detector has got a thermal camera built in, a bispectrum camera. So this bispectrum camera has got both thermal technology as well as optical technology built in. So we can see a thermal image that actually does the temperature measurement. And we've got an optical lens in there that will show us, who's who, because it's a little bit more difficult to do it with a thermal camera. You don't get those kind of details from these units. Now, if we look at the walk-through metal detector door, it's got 18 independent detection zones for metal detection. Right? The camera resolution is 160, or thermal camera resolution, 160 by 120. Makes it a little bit more cost-effective thermal camera. And the temperature range this camera will actually measure is between 30 and 45 degrees. Temperature accuracy, plus or minus 0.5 degrees, and that's very, very accurate. And the temperature measurement happens from 0.5 all the way up to 1.5 meters away from the metal detector door. So it can even detect your temperature before you go through here. So you can already get a warning if the temperature is too high or too low, something like that. And obviously it supports sound and light alarm. So it'll make a noise, make an alarm if the temperature is too high, or it detects metal or something like that. And also a lighting that lights up on the sides of the metal detector door to show you where it's picking up metal. Now at the top of this walk-through metal detector, it's got an LCD display that displays the following. So the first thing it displays the number of people that pass through the door, regardless of your temperatures or metals or whatever. it shows the skin surface temperature of the person currently going through there. And then obviously the number of temperature alarms that was triggered, and also the number of metal alarms that was triggered. So this is all the information that is displayed on the screen already. So abnormal body temperature detection is done there. Obviously no touch, so we don't want to touch these things. So touch-free accessing. It does recognition and temperature measurement, not recognition, temperature measurement, as well as metal detection in less than a second per person. So it is happy with speed and bottlenecking there, and it reduces your human resources. You don't need a lot of humans and people manning these devices. So you can have, let's say, 1 or 2 people monitoring in the control room for a couple of these doors. So limiting the amount of people that needs to be at the door, exposing them to the same risks as well. All right, so typical examples of where it can be used. So the temperature screening, entrances of factories and so forth, schools especially, we want to safeguard our kids and make sure that nobody unwanted goes in there. Offices, and obviously retail shops. So these are the places where the majority of us or people we know go to. So we need to make sure that they safeguard. But it obviously it's not just limited to just these examples. Now here's a walkthrough metal detector that's been installed in the spot in Nelspruit, where it's been set up, where it actually checks people going through here. Now just a warning for this, we have switched off the metal detection for these doors, and we're purely using it for the temperature screening of these devices. So it won't make alarm when metal trolleys goes through there, right? So let me just quickly show you, oops, sorry. Just quickly show you, oops, there we go. All right, so all the people will actually go through this here, and it'll immediately alert them as soon as there's a person with high temperature going through there. There's another one video of how they come in through this area, so they're guided through this, every person to pass through this, so you can make sure you actually pick up each and every person there. All right, so a successful case done and installed in Nelspruit Spar, one that we mentioned over here. All right, let's quickly have a look at the product showcase. All right, I'm not going to teach you model numbers. It's good to know them, but I'm not going to teach you model numbers. But the 607 series facial recognition terminal, it's got a 7-inch touch screen, 2-megapixel wide-angle lenses built into these cameras. So it's wide angle and high resolution. Deep learning algorithm built in there, so detects faces. It's got capacity to save about 5,000 faces in these units, up to 6,000 cards and 5,000 fingerprints. And it can store, it's got the capacity to record 50,000 events. So 50,000 transactions or events that it can actually store inside the unit itself. So different communication options. So we've got your normal LAN or network cable, Wi-Fi. So some of these devices have got Wi-Fi options built in them. And obviously IP65, like I showed you, can be used outdoors. Time and attendance functionality built into these devices, so they can be used for time and attendance. And it also supports the intercom function. So if it's a visitor that's not been registered on the devices yet, they can call the control room, and then the control room could possibly open the door or gate from there. Then if we look at the 5671, this is the guy that we normally bundle with our swing gate barriers, as you can see over there, or turnstiles. They've got a 7-inch touch screen built into the unit, 2-megapixel wide angle, similar to that over there. But the capacity is different. So we've got up to 20,000 faces that can be stored on this. And obviously faces, I mean, 20,000 people's credentials with their faces for recognition purposes. It can store up to 100,000 events. So you can see quite a high volume that this can be used for. It's got built-in inputs and outputs, and obviously vegan outputs. So it can be used with third-party systems out there. So it's not just limited to only our own controllers and our own swing gate barriers. If you already have a turnstile, a swing gate barrier for that matter, you can upgrade the whole system by just adding these devices and connecting them up to the third-party devices. Then if we look at the K1T671, this guy over here, now if you see the 3XF at the back, that means it's temperature screening, right? So this guy does facial recognition similar to what these guys do, but it adds the feature of the temperature screening. Right, so temperature screening again happens between 30 and 45 degrees that it measures, and the accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees, sorry. It supports, now this is a nice feature about this. I had to double check this to make 100% sure. It supports face mask wearing alert, which means that if you're not wearing a mask, the system, even if you do have access, it will not give you access. It won't open the door. Even if you have access right to the area, it will not open the door. And it'll actually give you an alert. It'll speak to you. It'll actually tell you to put on your mask or to wear a mask before it'll give you access. Now, okay, it's optional, but you have the option to also recognize the face even while you're wearing the mask. So there's different options for this. It does recognition with the face mask on as well. So up to 50,000 faces can be stored in these devices, and up to 50,000 in one card. So that's your typical access control card. Right, now this guy here is our new enrollment station. So what's making this guy, or what makes it nice, is it supports facial recognition, facial enrollment basically, and card and fingerprint enrollment. So all these things built into one unit, and you get high quality face photos because it's been optimized for the system. So facial enrollment, fingerprint enrollment, card enrollment, all through this one little device over here. Makes it very, very nice. Now, I mentioned this device before. Now, this device does not have the temperature screening that this one does have. And let's say you do have a third-party turnstile you want to use it for and so forth, then we have an option for you. So the 3XF on the 5671 device over here adds the temperature screening functionality to the swing gate barrier, or this terminal over here. So it supports, again, the same type of features like this, the temperature measurement, the accuracy, the face mask that you need to wear and so forth. Uploads abnormal temperatures to the control room and can be still used with third-party turnstiles, or obviously our own as well. So a couple of different options for you when it comes to access control and facial recognition, and obviously temperature screening, safeguarding your space. All right, so we've got an option, a nice gift to you, if you will. All right, so first come, first serve, right? So bear in mind, first come, first serve. We only have 50 units that we will give to you at 50% off, for half the price, to try this out, to set it up as a demo, to show your clients. This is only valid until 30th of May. Only one unit per company, unfortunately, to give everyone a chance, right? So one unit per company, we've got 50 units only that we'll give to you at half the price. All right, so, but we need to get some case study permissions from you. So we want to feature your case next time where you use it and so forth. So please share that with us. All right, so please take advantage of this facial recognition terminal offer at 50% off, right? So we did go through the specifications of this. I'm not going to go through the whole spec list again. All right, so that's 50% off. We also have, for the walkthrough metal detector, complete, 30% off for the first 50 clients. Again, the same goes up to 30th of May, valid until that. One unit per company only, and obviously first come, first serve, right? So, and again, the case study permissions, we need that so that we can promote that and possibly feature your installation or your demo. Right, so I'm not going to go through all the specifications again. We've done that. So please take advantage of these offers and let us know. So if you want to take advantage of them, we've got people that you need to contact. The people you contact in the different areas are these guys. So please take a quick screenshot of, grab your phone, take a photo, do whatever you need to do. If you are too late and you did miss the screen for whatever reason, please contact us. Please let us know. Listen, I'm very interested in this. Please send me the right guy's details and we will send them through. So quickly to show you, for Western Cape, we're going to contact Jason over there. Here's his telephone number and his email, jason.linklater@hikvision.com. For Gauteng, you're going to contact Tim Yen. Contact number over there, email address tim.yen@hikvision.com. In KZN, you want to contact Naki over there. Telephone number, I'm not going to try and pronounce his email address over there. And for any other provinces, so any other areas or regions, please contact with Leon. All right, so if you're from the Western Cape, Jason's your guy. Gauteng, Tim Yen. KZN is Naki, and any other places, please contact with Leon, and there are the details. All right, so for those, I'm going to go back to that screen. For these special offers, if you want to get hold of one of these units, or even for anything else, if you've got projects or whatever that you want to spec this with, whatever, these are still the guys that you want to contact. So please take advantage of this. Take a screenshot. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to quickly grab your phone, take a photo, do whatever you need to do to capture these details. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was 5 seconds. Here we go. So I'm going to quickly go over to Hunter again. Hunter is going to give us a quick demo of how to do this. And thank you very much for joining. So over to Hunter, and then, but stick around after Hunter, but Hunter will introduce Jade as well there. So Hunter, you're up. Sorry, Hunter, if we can't hear you guys over there. No, we can't hear you. Novak, please unmute your mic.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can hear you. A little bit of feedback, but yes, we can hear you clearly now. Thank you very much.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. And today I'm going to give you a brief introduction on gray boxes. And 20, please help me to show these devices to our customers. On the top of the device, there's a LED supplement light, as you can see. And next to it is a dual lens camera. Why we need a dual lens camera? Because the same reason for our eyes. If you only have one eye, you can draw 2D image. If you have two eyes, you will get 3D images. And dual lens will identify whether you are a live human or just a picture. The next of the camera is a 7-inch touch screen. It's very large and user-friendly. And next to it is a card swiping area. And then at the bottom of the device, there's a fingerprint area. Okay, that's all for the physical part, very simple, right? Let's wait to the software part. Okay, great. This is a MMS 4200 software. As you can see, there's different menus here. I already opened them. This is a maintenance and management module. We can see the MinMoe face terminal is already added to the software. We can see its name, IP address, and the device status is online. Okay, and let's go to the persons module. As you can see, I already get all the users from the device. If you want to get all the users, just click the get from device. Then you can choose the MinMoe face terminal and click import. You will get all the users here. And you can manage them as a new user or delete some guys you don't want. Okay, and let's go to the access control part. There's an access group you need to create. When you manage that, you can modify this access group, and that's all the 7 Chinese guys. I already import them to this device. And some of the guys may ask me that why we need the apply all to devices and apply changes. For apply all, system will wipe out all the previous data and import the new data. It will cost a lot of time, but for the apply changes, if you only want to add 2 more new employers, do you need to wipe out all data or rewrite it again? No, of course not. Apply changes will only upload the 2 employees data and will save you a lot of time. Okay, that's all for the software part, and let's wait to the. I'd like to invite my colleague Quentin.
And let's stop my sharing. Quentin, say hi. Yeah, and during this specific time, people are free to touch any stuff which others touched before, and Quentin become very nervous, and he doesn't want to touch any stuff either. But don't worry, he's healthy so far. And Quentin, could you please help me to open the door? Authenticated. And I also like to invite another colleague, Marcos. And nowadays, thieves are very smart, and they can steal your card, even a fingerprint rubber to copy your fingerprint. So people are get freaked out. To someone just use a fingerprint or my card to get into my office, that's a problem, right? So how to deal with that? We have a solution. Marcos will show you how to use the multiple authentication function. And Marcos, please show us. Firstly, he will try to punch his card. The system asked him to verify his fingerprint. And he will verify his fingerprint. Not work. And again, try his face. Authenticated. Marcos, can you do it again? Firstly, swipe the card, and then verify his fingerprint. Great. Impressive, right? Very safe, right? Okay, what all we did is during the daytime, but what about the nighttime? Let's do a test. And Quentin, could you please help me to turn off the light? Okay, and try to verify your face again. Let's see if it works. Authenticated. Impressive, right? Even though it's 8 p.m. in China, and he can still get verified. Okay, great. That's all for the show time, and it's time for a lucky draw. Let's welcome our beautiful lady.